how to build a pretty basic bare bones replica of the Instagram interface via Swift's Storyboard Interface and SwiftUI framework. Swift's Storyboard Interface is the majority of what's seen in industry at the moment, while SwiftUI is a new framework that's been generating a lot of buzz for being the future of how we will build iOS apps. So what you want to do to start off is go here to new, and you want to make a new project. You want to make a new app, name goes here, and your interface would be Storyboard, and then you click next and put it in whatever folder you want to put in. And so now you would have something like this, in which you'll have some boilerplate code such as app delegate, scene delegate, view controller, along with your main and your launch screen storyboards. So in order to start making the UI, you want to go here and you want to look up table view controller. So this will be your main landing page, as in your home screen. You want to give yourself a little bit of space, and you want to start designing your UI by dragging in UI objects. So you could look up something like image, place it here. You want to drag in a couple of labels, and probably some buttons. This label's text could be something like your comment would go here, and this button, in order to edit it, you could go here to your right side, delete the text, and if you want to make something like a heart button, you could look up the image and click it on here. And so you could continue editing the how your text renders by going to your font, deciding if it's bold, regular, or thin, and continue editing the UI such that it mimics whatever you're trying to create. But in order for this UI to have any functionality, you want to tie it to functions, you want to make API calls on certain buttons, you want to tie it into a file. And so to do that, you would go to your folder and you would make a new file. Table cell. And so you want to import UIKit, and then the class of your file will be a UI table view cell. And so we'll go back to main. You want to click on your cell itself, come here to the right side once again, and the class of this table cell will be the file you just created, the name of the file you just created, so table cell. And once you do that, you should be able to come to editor, assistant, and the file you just made will be on your right hand side. And so now what you want to do is you want to hold control in order to drag the button you just created into this file, and you want to name it something like button. And so now the file that will contain all the logic for how your view should be set up will have a reference to that like button. And so now you can start calling functions on it, and you can start making use of the button itself. So in order to save time, this is what your Instagram view would look like if you go full-fledged with your buttons, your labels, and your UI image. And if I click on this, this is something like what your file would look like, and you dragging all of the buttons, you having an initializer, and having various functions to implement what you want the button to do. So for example, here you would be changing the color of the like button from red to non-shaded, and here you would be doing an API call in order to update some data in your database, because you just clicked the button. So now we'll be going over how to do the same process, but in SwiftUI.
So this one is Instagram clone, but we will gonna only make the post view. You can see the image here. So the one thing that you need to do first is creating a project. So one big difference is that you need to choose SwiftUI instead of Storyboard. And after you create a file, you're gonna see the content view, and inside there you will gonna add UI element. So as you can see, there is like a header, image, buttons, likes, and contents, and the time you posted. And the elements are stacked vertically, so we're gonna use a VStack. And if you see the header, there is like a profile image and user ID and the ellipsis button. And those are located horizontally, so we're gonna use HStack. So profile image, and then ID, and then the ellipsis. But there is a space between ID and ellipsis, so we're gonna insert spacer inside, and we're gonna remove the header. And how we're gonna make an image is just image and the name of the file. And I previously put the images in the asset, and we can just call it with the name. And this is too big, so I want to make it resizable, and then set a frame to be maybe width to be 30 and height to be 30. And I want to keep the ratio, so it's gonna be scale to fill. And I want to make it circle, so it's gonna be clip shape and circle. And then ID, the ID is Pira parking, but I want to make it board, and I want to add ellipsis button. So just type button, and there's action and label. And currently action, I'm not gonna do anything, but the label is how the button look like. We're gonna use default icon, so it's an image system name ellipsis. As you can see, there's like a 3 dot ellipsis button is created. And how you can find the symbols, so there's a SF symbols, and you can just search it, and then it's gonna show multiple icons, and you just like type the name of the icon. The button is blue, and I want to make it black, so then I type foreground color and then click primary. So the reason why it is just primary, not black, is that in a dark mode I want to show it as a white. So dot primary is a color that dynamically change based on the theme. And I want to add image, and the name of the file is just image. And this is also too big, so I want to make it resizable, but also I want to keep the ratio, so it's scale to fit. And then the buttons is also aligned horizontally, so I'm gonna use HStack, and there are 4 buttons. So button, action level, and label is like an image, again system name, heart, and now you can see there's a heart here. And I'm gonna copy and paste, and change from heart to message, from heart to paper plane, and then heart to bookmark. And we need a space, so we add spacer. So we did buttons, and we're gonna make a like. If you see the image of like, there are 3 images and 1 text, and it's aligned horizontally, so we're gonna use HStack. And let's create the text first. But I want to make bold some parts, and what we can do is putting 2 asterisks next to the text that we want to make it bold. And also, like images wise, we're gonna use Z-stack. So Z-stack is putting one element on top of the other. So we're gonna create an image, and again I'm gonna make it resizable and make it circle. But now the profile 4 is on top of everything, so we're gonna change location of the other two. So we're gonna use offset. Offset is used for changing the location. So we made profile 3 to be a little bit right, and profile 4 we're gonna have offset also, so 30 and 0. But now you can see the like by and the image profile 4 is in the same place. So we're gonna give a padding on the Z stack, the trailing part. So here, so there is a dot leading and dot trailing. So you can think dot leading is like a left side and dot trailing is a right side. So the reason why we are using leading and trailing instead of left and right is because we are reading from left to right, but in some other cultures, they're reading from right to left. So in that case, the leading is changing from left to right, and also trailing is changing from right to left automatically in some other culture. So that's the reason why we are using leading and trailing instead of left and right. Anyways, we're gonna add padding on the trailing, and then it's gonna be 30 units. And now you can see it's detached. And we made the likes part, and we're gonna make the content, and it's again H stack. And I want to make it as a bold and text. Text is 3 hours ago, but I want to make the font smaller, so I type font dot caption. So now it's smaller, and I want to change the color from black color to the gray color, and I'm gonna use secondary. So the reason why we are using caption and secondary instead of like 15 unit or like 12 unit or gray color or something is that in iPhone, users can change the text from really small font to like really big font. But if the font size is like 12 pixel or 15 pixels, it cannot be changed dynamically. So we are using dot caption or dot title or dot extra title thingy so that it can dynamically change. Also, and now you can see the elements are aligned in center instead of the left. So we are gonna add the alignment to the V stack. So the alignment will be dot leading. Okay, and we're gonna add some padding on the left side and the right sides. So what we can do is adding padding horizontally, and also on the bottom part we also add padding horizontally, and the like part also padding horizontally, and the content also padding horizontally, and text also for padding horizontally. And also I want to change the color of the button. Yes, then they look pretty much same. That's it. And I think the SwiftUI is way easier than UIKit. That's it.